Welcome back to Vivid Earth, everyone. How's everyone doing? Oh, we are on the 4th of November. We're just entering the first week of November, or almost at the end. And it's going to be the significant one. This is the month of death and rebirth. Like I said, tomorrow is the 5th of November. We know what made that day famous. Uh, remember the 5th of November and V for Vendetta. So we'll see if that's going to be used as a culmination point, as a turning point. The point is, we've got a super full moon tomorrow, like I already said. So the moon will be closest to the Earth this year. What does that mean? It means the moon will be brighter than usual. It's going to illuminate everything that is untruth. Everything that is meant to come to the surface will be revealed on this day and more, and set the tone for the rest of November. So we're in for a bumpy and chaotic couple of weeks. At the same time, we are seeing the momentum building right now. We are seeing extreme weather conditions around the world. We're seeing floods, latest flood now in the Philippines. We see the devastation that just occurred in Jamaica. Now, I believe Jamaica, unfortunately, and I'm sure, I don't speak for all the people here, and certainly those that lost their lives. I'm not saying anyone deserved that, but I'm saying there is a lot of darkness in that country that needed to be sorted out. A lot of black magic, a lot of distortion, a lot of voodoo. Well, that is black magic. Uh, Possibly ley lines and stargates that have been inverted and satanically, ritualistically uh, really messed with. So, unfortunately, I believe things have had to be sorted out over there. And I'm hoping that it's only those that had karmic ties that needed to exit at this point. I believe 50 people did lose their lives. And I think just know that all of these things are contractually aligned. So, as difficult as it is to see these events play out around the world, we also have to understand nobody will lose their lives prematurely. Everything is contracted, all have been agreed to from a soul contract point of view. So just trust the process, guys. It's not always going to be easy to witness these things. We may see more chaos, more devastation during the rest of November, but know that it is all divinely guided, and what needs to happen will happen, and it will for the betterment. It will be for the betterment of humanity ultimately. So lots going on in the background. We can see clues of that on the world stage as things unfold. We've been seeing what's going on with Venezuela and the gangs and the threats being put out. Uh, these are all serious concerns that need to be neutralized as things go along. So understand that we're not walking a straight line. Things are not all perfectly aligned and falling into place necessarily. Like I said before, timelines can do this, and both dark and light can affect timelines. And that is why you haven't seen the flip. That is why, unfortunately, we're still seeing a lot of suffering amongst honest working people just wanting to make a living, but really struggling financially because everything has to be aligned in a certain way before this currency revaluation can happen, before the redistribution of wealth can happen. All of that is part of Nasara Jasara, and it cannot happen in isolation. There's got to be world peace. There's got to be certain things that have to be secured and done around the planet before that can roll out. So just trust that everyone that's working on our behalf, underground, above ground, in space, behind the scenes, are doing the best that they can at this point and working as fast as they humanly can at this point to shift things. And just do what you can from your side to make your life easier, um, to perhaps exit the matrix as much as you can, you know? Don't engage with it. Don't get triggered by it. Don't feel you have to keep up with anything. If there's anything that drives you to go back and forth in a 3D job, start questioning the reasons for that. Do you really need it? Do you really need to do everything that you do in your day? Or are there things that are part of the 3D matrix that you can lay to rest now? How can you adjust your life to suit this interim phase that we're going through, that we unfortunately still have to go through before the world changes? It's just a little caveat that I want to leave there for you, but I am going to dive into some intel today because I know some of you love it. So I'm just going to briefly look at some headlines and things that are happening around the world. And then, of course, go into sort of more the spiritual, esoteric side of things as well. Um, yes, so let's see. Where shall we start? Something I found quite interesting is that 107 mentioned last week in an interview, I think it was last week. Um, he mentioned many things, but he also mentioned South Africa. So for our South African brothers and sisters, very interesting. He mentioned he's been in South Africa, coincidentally, quite a few times lately. So there's definitely something going on here in South Africa. And he mentioned in an interview with Nina Rodriguez that President Cyril Ramaphosa might be indicted soon, just like Maduro. He also mentioned something about the voting systems that they tested here in South Africa. Now, remember, we are 1 year um, ahead of, let's say, the US. So we had our elections in 2023, where the US had its elections in 2024. So that would have been a perfect testing ground for their fraudulent, corrupt equipment to see if it really works. Because obviously, South Africa is important, but the US is a much bigger and more important territory to ensure control by the cabal. So that's very interesting. So I reckon they've got everything. They've got everything they need. They're just waiting for the right time to drop the bomb. And so, again, all of the dominoes have to fall into place at the perfect time before things can happen. But trust that things are moving in the background, that we're not always privy to these things. And on a sort of softer level, the whales and the dolphins are gathering. They definitely know something is up and something is happening. They've been gathering, thousands of them are converging in South Africa and California. I mentioned that, other areas as well. Massive superpods, like 2,000 plus dolphins at a time. They're gathering also on Australia's coastline. So these are not small anomalies. These are not things that we see every day. If you are tuned into Mother Earth's energy, you know that this speaks volumes because they are the frequency keepers in the oceans, in the waters, that are the arteries of the earth, the blood supply of the earth. Water permeates through everything, and water carries memory and information and frequency. So I just find it very interesting. They're either sensing something or they're engineering something. But one thing is certain, they are helping the planet with its frequency modulation because the planet has been rising in frequencies. And yes, we have had some dips as well. That's part of that recalibration process. So if you felt a couple of dips low, sort of uh, frequency energy come through, just know that that's part of the calibration process. Don't get attached to it. Don't fret about it. Just move along. And as Bruce Lee always says, be like water. Just flow with the currents. And that is the best place to be because things are going to get crazy. More crazy. Much more crazy. Okay? In November and December, and who knows, when this is all going to culminate. So you've got to be calm. You've got to modulate your own energy levels, your frequency. Make sure that you've cultivated a sense of neutrality that you don't get triggered by things, that you can be the calm in the storm for others when things get crazy, because the world's going to rely on you, and that is why you were woken up first before everyone else. Um, so, but suffice to say, something deep is happening in the collective field. Um, And some say that these anomalies with the whales and the dolphins actually are connected to a major grid shift that occurred recently in London, England, which I found really interesting. As we know, the grid there has been inverted thoroughly. So perhaps that was a very important node to kind of reorganize and sort out as well, because that's what the Dark Ones did. They inverted Earth's most powerful grids, vortexes, ley lines. They blocked them, they inverted them, they created spells on them. You cannot imagine what's been done on this planet. It's been a fight for stargates as well, because the stargates are the portals to different realities, to different dimensions, to different worlds. So if you can control the portals on this planet, you can control the planet itself, the stargates, and that was probably one of the first tasks I believe that the White Hats and the Alliance were tasked with, is to take control back of the portals and the stargates. That is why the stargate in Iraq and Gaza, 10 and 12, Stargate 10 and 12, was so important to get a control of. And you know, we don't always know what's going on under the ground, but I can just imagine the complexity, uh, the absolute mammoth of a task this alliance had to clean up the earth from the inside out. We think it's only on the surface. It's on the inside and it's on the outside, in the in space itself. So it's a mammoth task. We can't even begin to imagine it. So, that long-standing distortion in London was released, and ancient dragon energies apparently released in the process as well. And they are the guardians of the Earth's time ley lines. A lot of people think that is just fantasy until you start seeing them. And we are going to start seeing them, and some people are already seeing them. And they have returned. They are they've been awakened, the guardians of Earth's ley lines, and they were freed from captivity, so to speak. So that was a very important activation. And there was also a noticeable uplift in energy's frequency, as you may have felt a couple of weeks ago. And the whales are now singing again, and they're singing a new song. So these convergences seem to be their way of responding, of anchoring the changes into the water ley lines of the earth, just as the ley lines are being rewritten on land. So this is a planetary cetacean and human coherence. We all working on this, and there's a lot of grid workers amongst us and amongst you, that you know who you are, where you just know you are a grid worker. You're called to different places to cleanse the energy, to do some sort of earth ritual, to work with Earth's grid and restore it to its former 5D glory. So this is a very important part of this whole process as well. There can be no wealth redistribution with a distorted grid. Can you imagine? It's all just going to implode on itself. So everything has to be done in a certain sequence, in a certain methodology, in order for things to flip on the very, very surface of things, the things that matter to us in our 3D lives, you know, like, you know, money and power, control systems, all of these things. Um, a lot of people are worried about the digital IDs now really ramping up. And even, I get messages from people now in South Africa, things are ramping up. Starlink is being, uh, getting the green light to, uh, map the whole sky here. Well, surprise, surprise, they're already here. They have been here for some time, but that's another discussion. And then the fact that it's been signed into law now, this digital ID system, and the whole thing. And I just want to remind you that the lens that you look at things through, and I've mentioned this, and I mentioned this so many times, changes the perspective of what is happening. So, um, just like AI, just like uh, you know, owning guns and weapons and everything else depends on who is in control of it. What is the frequency of the collective that is in control of it? So, because if you think about it, maybe for a quantum system, we kind of do need everyone's data, not to control them, but to be able to have oversight on what's going on this planet, because there's been so much money laundering, trafficking, dark web tradings, and horrible things going on this planet. How do you get control over that by, you know, um, if you don't get a sort of a complete uh, map of the whole earth and everyone on it? And also for the quantum financial system and the quantum system. So eventually, when there's a redistribution of wealth, everyone's going to be mapped on that system. The banks are not going to be the gatekeepers of that. Now, how are you going to do that? And I feel like this is part. What started out as an Agenda 2030 control system was usurped by the White Hats and now used for good. That is my interpretation. You don't have to believe in that. If you want to believe in the worst outcome and go and live in a cave in, a mountain somewhere, that's up to you. I'm not going to be manifesting a negative uh, projection of this reality for me, because I know that I am a creative, the creator of my own reality and a co-creator of the collective reality. So I'm not even going to entertain that. And I know there's a different way of looking at it, and I choose to look at the different way. So yeah, I know people they have scars and traumas from lives past where we've been hoodwinked and done horrible things to. But it's not going to happen this time. The light has won. This is Atlantis 2.0, and it's a huge success already. The light has already succeeded in rebalancing the energies on this planet. It's done. In a way, a lot of things still need to happen, but in a way, it's already done because we're not living actually in linear time like we think we do. We just perceive it as linear time, linear space time. I know that's a very complex topic and we don't fully get it yet. Our human little earth brains don't get it. But if you can understand that there's so much more to this bigger uh, cosmos, uh, multiverse that we live in, than what we fully understand right now, and just have the faith and the belief that everything's going to work out very well for us. We're walking into a new earth, and nothing can stop that. Literally, nothing can stop what's coming. So just know that there's a lot of stuff going on underground, under the sea. I mean, so many things under the sea going on. We have no idea. There is like thousands and thousands of things that are happening behind the scenes, below the earth's surface, under the sea, that will blow your mind when you hear about it. And we will get to hear about all of that. Some of that we have already heard about. Even things like a parallel universe accessed by a stabilized quantum rift in CERN's Large Hadron Collider. It's just so much for our brains to process. There's a parallel Earth apparently, where a fungal plague eradicated mammals by the 1800s. There are many, many parallel Earths, but the one that we're collapsing here right now is a beautiful new Earth. And every day, more of our higher self, more of our other fractals are coming into this physical body to participate in this embodied ascension as we are ready for it. So, you don't necessarily have to get involved in all of the drama You have to know everything. Sometimes it's just all too overwhelming. So just switch off the noise. If it overwhelms you, just put it all off. Go within. Go and ask the questions that you have within from your higher self, and it'll come to you. You will not be able to get answers like that from anywhere else, I can guarantee you. So anyway, um, with this government shutdown, another thing is culminating by tomorrow. I think it's the SNAP benefits or something. That's also on the 5th of November. I feel like really things are going to snap tomorrow. Excuse the pun. I really believe it's going to be quite something. And actually, what has been revealed now, why the SNAP benefits are making it into the news like it is at the moment. Of course, there is a purpose for everything. There's a very specific purpose for that. Because it's just been another money laundering scheme for the Democrats. And I don't like to talk about Democrats and Republicans, red versus blue, because I think it's quite juvenile. But we have to expose what's been going on. And certainly, the most of the corruption have been done under the Democrat banner. So, all of that stuff has got to be revealed and dismantled. And the political party system will be dismantled as well. It's not working, not anywhere in the world. Okay. How quickly that's going to happen, I'm not sure, but probably more gentle than sudden. But who knows? So anyway, this SNAP benefit thing has been used as a Democrat money laundering operation to fund the party. So, because the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, joined Fox News on Sunday and addressed American people about the USDA's massive efforts to combat fraud in the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. So, Rollins said that the Trump administration sent letters to all governors prohibiting illegal aliens from accessing benefits, with a historic request for state data to be audited alongside the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. She said only 29 states cooperated, primarily red and some blue states. She said her team and DOGE found some of the most shocking fraud ever, resulting in the purging of 700,000 ineligible recipients since the president's inauguration, and they arrested 118 individuals. That is massive. So 700,000 people, illegals, basically have receiving benefits, and they're not even eligible. So some of the things that they found is that SNAP spending surged nearly 40% under Biden, linked to $100 billion in expenditure. Thousands of ineligible illegals used EBT cards. One individual claimed benefits in 6 states. Yes. About 5,000 deceased recipients were still receiving aid. Yeah. So that's why they cut off the money. All of this is engineered, and all of this is engineered to expose what's going on with the Democrats and the laundering and the corruption that have been hidden through that machine. So money is being cut off first, fraud will be exposed second, and prosecution will happen third. And then they will end that federal program, because it should be continuing. And actually, when you think about it realistically and from a really sober point of view, they've made people so dependent on the government. Like, we don't even have all those things in South Africa, and we have some of the poorest people in the world, living here. But we don't have those things here. There are, of course, benefits and all of that, but not to the extent that you find in the US. It's absolutely crazy. And it just keeps people dependent, in victim mode, unable to, be responsible for their own living and lives. It's a recipe for disaster. And they just keep on going. And they've purposefully made people dependent on their governments so that they can never get out of that grip. It's like a continual cycle. You can't get out because now you're reliant on those things, right? So you just say yes to whatever's, being given or said to you. So, so much is going to be revealed. That's just like one little tip of the iceberg. There's so much more going on. And I think it's just going to be so monumental what will be revealed. It's just like it's going to blow all our minds, even the ones that are awake. um, when the masses are exposed to things like stargates, um, alien disclosure and UAPs and UFOs and all these things, which already you can see the narrative is building. They're desensitizing the masses to this subject, slowly but surely, so that they're ready for the real disclosure when it does come. That's why they can't do it fully yet. It has to be a controlled rollout because people will lose their heads. They will lose their minds. So be patient, guys, and use this time to master the human experience because that's what you signed up for, not to come and, take a shortcut, the end. No, you also came here to master this human experience apart from your earth mission, which you signed up for. So it's kind of a double mission. You can't fail the one and then say you succeeded. You've got to do both. And I love this piece just by Zachary Fisher, where he said, "You may not see it fully yet, but we are standing at the edge of something extraordinary. The world may seem chaotic, but that chaos is the sound of old systems collapsing and new ones being born. Never before has humanity had this much awareness, connection, and creative power flowing through its collective heart. We are witnessing the death of illusion and the birth of remembrance. This is not the end of days, it's the dawn of a new one. The universe didn't make a mistake placing you here now. It chose you for this chapter because your soul carries the codes for it. Remember who you are. You are not merely surviving history, you are helping to write it." I love that. So, as we're in this time of transition, where there's a lot of chaos and noise on the outside, that's when you need to get still. That's when you need to stop looking for the next thing to do and looking to just be. And, you know, in being, you're going to be mastering this human experience. That's when things come to you. That's when revelations, when epiphanies, breakthroughs, okay, because it's happening through each and every one of us. It's not a separate thing. It happens through us as much as it happens in the outer world, it happens in the inner world at the same time. This evolution of the outer and the inner world is a dual process that you have to participate in. Um, so, yeah, I mean, this full moon, this super full moon tomorrow is going to be significant. Um, so just take some time, just take some time to reflect, to look at the things that you want to close off. What is the things that no longer need to be in your life? How you can move forward more aligned, more connected, more grounded, more centered, more calm, more rested, more balanced. So instead of just getting caught up in all the craziness, that would be my recommendation. The other thing that we're seeing in the outer world is many flight delays because the air traffic controllers who have been paid through alternative sources, uh, I think some of those funds are not coming through and some of them are not getting paid. So there's massive flight delays in the US, which is really interesting. More than 5,000 flights traveling from and to US airports were delayed this this past Sunday alone. Um, so I don't know. Might be a good time to kind of prep for an EBS, is to kind of ground all the flights. I don't know, but It surely is an interesting thing to think about. So, yeah, there's a lot of craziness on the outside. There's no doubt in that. Um, and you just remember that you are the constant light node holding things steady during this time. So when you need to disengage from all the news so you can be that light node for others, then do that. Follow your intuition, follow your divine guidance. It's always there. It's just, can you actually tune into it, and do you actually listen? Because it doesn't shout, it whispers, and you need to be quiet in order to listen and hear that whisper within you. So, yeah, um, there's a lot to be done, and there's a lot going on in the outside world. So now's the time to really stay focused and stay centered. Eat healthily. You might want to do a parasite cleanse over the full moon. That's normally a good time to do a parasite cleanse because naturally they come out of their little holes. It's like, okay, time to go. It's full moon. They are generally um, responding to the magnetic pull of the full moon. And so that's a good time to get rid of them as well, isn't it? Um, yeah, there's so much more I can talk about, but I'm not going to talk about all those things now. So I think a lot of them are distraction, and I don't want you distracted. So I'm going to leave you for now. Just trust in the process, trust that everything is working out for your highest good and humanity's highest good. Really, everything's going to work out, everything is going to be fine. Do not stress, do not worry, just be in total peace. And that's what's going to bring all the good stuff, I promise. So I'm going to leave you with that today. I'm going to uh, what's happening tomorrow. Yeah, I'm speaking to Honey C. Golden tomorrow, also to Saj. So you'll see those interviews coming up this week, as well as this week will be um, SG Anon, which will be very interesting. So, yeah, it's going to be some interesting discussions, and I look forward to sharing those with you. And in the meantime, stay calm, stay collected, stay peaceful, stay loving, stay compassionate, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Oh, before I forget, um, yeah, all the links. If you enjoy this content, just like and share. And I still haven't been able to get to my other channel, so I can redirect my old subscribers on the channel that was banned before, but I will get to that. And I also just wanted to let those know that were interested. Those know that I do offer like soul blueprint readings on my website. I don't do a lot of that, but I do them very selectively. So if you're interested in one of those, they are super interesting because I look at your entire soul blueprint, including your natal birth chart, your human design, your galactic lineages, your numerology and name resonances, and I synthesize all of those elements in to look at your soul mission with you, um, and your karmic blueprint. And if you're keen for that kind of thing, I now use, intuitive downloads and my own innate ability to, it's like I'm a natural psychologist in a way as well. Although I don't like that word. I think we need to come up with a better word. But if that's something that you are interested to do, go and check it out on my website. I'll leave the link below. Um, as I said, I don't do many of them, like a few a week. So you'll need to contact me through the website, and we'll see if we can slot you in. If you feel that is something that you need and that will help you map your path forward for you, it really helps you to know why you chose this blueprint in this reincarnation, why you chose your particular astrology, your galactic alignments, where you're from, what are the things that influence you, and it really just helps to put some perspective into why you chose certain aspects, relationships, situations, places. It's very, very helpful. So wanted to mention that. And yeah, that's it for now. I'm sending all much love. Speak to you soon.